Salutations, friends and strangers of the interwebs. Welcome back to the channel, Stevie Wonder Woman. It's me, Stevie, again. And in this video, I'm actually reshooting a video that I had my first blunder and deleted earlier. And before I sent back these two knives to their rightful owners, I wanted to do a head-to-head and kind of a versus based on my 1 week is all, my very short time experiencing these knives. But of course, I'm talking about the Koenig Arius and the CKF Evo. So I already know who wins. I didn't know who was going to win going into this, but being that I already shot it, I accidentally deleted it. I'm going to be able to run through this a little bit quicker, I think. And again, I had to get this video out. So let's start off. I have 7 categories. I got looks, ergos, pocketability, cutting, deployment, closing, and then sounds. So 7 categories. And let's start with looks. So the Arius, much more of a plainer looking knife than the Evo. You got just these plain milled titanium handles. Nice, though, blue pivots, or anodizing to the pivot and the body screws. The nice backspacer. You got the pocket clip that just flows with the design of the handle. And then you got the blade shape. I think that this blade shape is pretty awesome. And the looks there, I think, are just simple, sleek, and just done really, really, really well. Then you have the Evo 2.0, the CKF Evo 2.0. You have the shredded carbon fiber. There you go, Stevie. Show scale. I do really like the texturing. I don't know that my light is picking it up very well, but this lock scale is just, it's done really well. Much more swooping pattern on the Evo. But the big killer for me on the looks department, again, nitpicking, is that hole. There it is. I talked about it in my last video. I just don't like that hole. I still don't know what it's for. Again, I know it lines up with the stop pin. So, looks-wise, I'm going to give it to the Arius on the looks. So, we got a winner in the looks department, in my opinion. Only my opinion. All subjective, right? Looks go to the Arius. Okay, so let's talk ergos. The Arius, we'll start with the Arius. Very comfortable. You don't really have a forward finger choil, but you kind of got the flat of the flipper tab that if I did need to choke up, I can very easily, and that's not a problem. I'm not feeling the blade by doing that. I don't feel the pocket clip at all. There's no hot spots. No jimping on the spine of the blade at all. Doesn't need it though. It's got that thumb ramp right there. If I am choked up, it's very comfortable. I don't have a single hot spot, and I still got a full 4-finger grip on that. But this is a more traditional grip for me. I think I would use this grip more often, and I still have a full 4 on the knife, no problem. And then I'm still hitting that thumb ramp on there. So, again, no hot spots whatsoever. I don't feel that clip. The contour of the handle is done perfectly. This fits into my hand absolutely great. The Evo, man, as soon as you open this knife, your hand just naturally, my hand naturally goes to that forward finger choil, and it's got that little bit of a, it's, I guess it's kind of almost like a M shape. Whoop, whoop, the little swoop there. That just allows you to get a great purchase on this. And I really like that. I can choke up really well. That aggressive jimping that they have on the spine works great. Again, no jimping on the Arius. Polar opposite to super aggressive jimping. It's done really well, though. Doesn't bother me whatsoever. But I'm not always going to be choked up like that. I guess if I had this knife, this is how I would have to. If I'm back in a traditional grip, though, that's where I'm not as big of a fan. I don't have as, my pinky's kind of hanging off there. I don't have as good of a grip. That jimping still works well, but then the blade just seems farther away because of the cutting edge, because of that choil. So where this is excellent, this is not so much. Whereas the Arius, I can choke up and it feels great, and I can be back on the handle and it feels just as good. So, I'm going to give the win to the Arius in Ergos. Pocketability. So I thought that I knew what the winner was going to be going into this, but I ended up changing my mind when I filmed the last video, and I'm going to stay consistent with those thoughts. So if I just use my Hank here to simulate going in pocket, they both go in and out of the pocket very well, extremely well. I think the retention on these clips are both great. You got a little bit more deep carry, a little bit, not much, on the Evo. I thought it originally felt a little bit better in pocket, but then before I did the video earlier, I did pull them in and out of pocket, and even though the Arius sticks out just a hair bit more, it just felt better in pocket. And I think, the clip design doesn't play into how they actually go into pocket. But again, I thought that the Evo was going to win, but the Arius did feel better pulling it in and out of pocket. So, pocketability, I got to give it to the Arius on that as well. Cutting, which is one thing that I haven't been focusing as much on some of the knife or some of the reviews that I've been doing. That's what a knife does. It cuts, right? And so I haven't been focusing as much on that. I've been forgetting to do my cut test. But in this category, look, so the blade this is meant to be a slicer, right? Absolutely. It's ground really thin behind the edge. Didn't get my calipers out to see exactly what it was, but the belly of that knife is, good for cutting small on tabletop cuts, I guess. I don't know if this is, again, a sheep's foot, drop point, reverse tanto, harpoon. I don't know what that is. But when it comes to slicing, no problem. It slices. Slicing machine. Arius, although it feels like it's thicker blade stock, I'm sure that the Evo is ground thinner, but this is definitely still extremely thin. And this is, I guess, more of I don't know if they're calling this a drop point or a clip point. I didn't do my research on blade shape, what they were, but a little bit. I think because you got the little bit of a belly there. If I did have to do cutting tasks on the tabletop, chopping something, I think it would do fine. So I'm just going off of the paper test right now, and the Arius cuts just as good. So if I'm just going off of the cutting of the paper that I've put these two to tasks, it's a tie. So got a tie on that one. It is what it is. Got to have a tie. Let's talk deployment. So the Arius has two forms of deployment. You got the flipper tab. The flipper tab does have the only jimping on the knife is just a little bit right there. Super snappy. Detent is, I'd say, perfect for flipping. And then you have the finger hole opening. Fires right out. Whether I'm on top of the hole or I'm at the back of the hole, it fires out just fine. I don't have to wrist it at all. The detent, very, very, very snappy on this. The Evo, I do like the, I don't know if that's a pill, pear shape, whatever that shape is. I do like the shape of the hole better than the Arius. And where I naturally go is at the top of the hole, it fires right out. Very snappy. Detent seems fine. When I get a little bit lower on it, though, it's not, well, there you go. Not as much. So, although I would always be at the top there, the lower part of the hole, not so much. I guess I did it there just fine. And we don't have a flipper, so I'm not going to judge it on the fact that this has a flipper and this one doesn't. If I'm going to go just finger hole to finger hole, Arius. I got to give deployment to the Arius. And it is a bonus that it has the flipper tab. So I'm going Arius on the deployment. On the closing, on the dropping action, you got more of a controlled hydraulic closing action on the Arius. Buttery smooth, totally very excellent. This, though, it's not close on the drop. The Evo's going to win this. I knew it going into it. Total guillotine. There is no controlled fall. This thing just wants to fall shut as soon as you move that lock bar out of the way. My nail is definitely taking some abuse over this last week on there. I've gotten used to it, though. It doesn't bother me. But the drop shutness of this, although the Arius is very mechanical feeling, buttery smooth, just fine, I will give the guillotine action drop to the Evo. Lastly, I have sounds on here because that's what I dig in a knife, and I'm actually going to pause this here so there's no background noise. Let's start with the Evo. Opening, deployment. Arius. You guys tell me. If we're going off of just sounds, the clicks and the clacks, it's not even close. The Arius sounds like a much better knife. And I think, you know, this is just plain Jane. For as special of a knife as this is, it sounds might not be important to anybody. I think a couple people do talk about sounds in their reviews. Excuse me, I actually got to wet my whistle real quick. Apple cider. I didn't even realize that apple cider was a flavor in that pack. It's not horrible. Wasn't expecting it. I thought I grabbed one of the cranberry one, whatever. I just wasn't expecting that. Probably made a fucking weird ass face there. Sorry about that. But the whistle has been whetted. Sounds though, yeah, the Evo just there's nothing fancy. And again, maybe sounds aren't important to anybody, but but they are to me, and it's something I'm going to judge a knife on, and the Arius wins. Arius wins in the sounds department. So, if you guys have been keeping tabs, if anybody's noticed also, I hope YouTube doesn't strike me, can you guess what the background instrumental is? It's kind of fitting, no pun intended. But if you're keeping track at home, so we had 7 categories. One of them was a tie. Cutting was a tie, so now we have 6. But looks, that went to the Arius. That's 1 for the Arius. Ergos went to the Arius. That's 2 for the Arius. Again, cutting was a tie. Deployment, that also went to the Arius. The drop shutness, the droppiness, that went to the Evo. So then we had sounds, that went to the Arius. So that is, if we take out the cutting, that is a 5-1 win for the Arius. So all those things considered, if money and availability was not a thing I had to worry about, and I was going off of just my 1 week experience with these, at the end of this 1 week, if someone said I could keep one of these, I had to give the other one back, I would keep the Evo. Woohoo! Whoa, was that a Freudian slip? I would keep the Arius. Uh, that's not a knock on this, obviously. I'm not saying this is a bad knife by any means. Kev, I hope you're not too sad. And John, I hope you don't. You know, yeah, but the Arius is the winner, and I really want one of these. I'd like one of these. I really want one of these, and I think that's going to be one of my next big purchases. If I can get in on one, I've really decided that I have to have this knife. So there it is. Again, great, awesome week of being able to have these two bad mamma jammas in my possession. It's been never thought I would really get either one of these in, and now I got them both. So it's been fun, really getting to experience both of these. Who knows if I would have had them both at different times? Maybe I'd have difference of opinion. Maybe I'm rushing my opinion. I kind of am. Again, I had this filmed. I had these boxed up, ready to be shipped back out. Thought that I transferred everything over to an SD card. The one to clean up space on my laptop. The one file I didn't transfer over was the head-to-head versus video, and I deleted it. So I had to unbox everything. Now I'm also out of tape. I got to go get tape before I ship stuff back out again, reprint labels and all that. Oh well. But yeah, it's just been it's been great having both of these. So there it is, guys. If you saw my Instagram post earlier today, it is so hard to say goodbye to these two amazing knives, but all good things must come to an end eventually. Thanks everyone for tuning in to the today's episode. Got some good stuff coming up real soon. I'm going to continue to film stuff that pops up into my head. I think I want to feature, you saw my Braun and Ginger Hank earlier. I got a bunch of Hanks. I think I want to do a just a Hank, show off all my different hankies that I got. I could do a flashlights video. I got a shit ton of flashlights. I could do a pens video. And I still have a bunch of knives that I haven't had a chance to really spend some time with. Including, I won't spoil it now, but my favorite knife that I've gotten so far. And I keep saying that. I keep getting my favorite knife, but this time I really think I have found my favorite knife so far. Video coming on that soon. In the meantime, I appreciate everybody watching. Please give it the thumbs up or the thumbs down. Whatever you feel. Give me some sort of reaction. Appreciate all the comments. I like having a dialogue back and forth. Yeah, and until the next video, thank you. Oh, did I say subscribe? Hit the notification bell, all that standard stuff. Anyway, again, thank you, and until the next video, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great rest of your night, and deuces. I can't even